All right, so good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Barcelona RISC-V workshop. My name is Rick O'Connor. I'm the executive director of the foundation, and it's a great pleasure to be here in Barcelona with everyone. First off, a very big thank you to the Barcelona Supercomputing Center and the UPC team who are co-hosting us here today. Thank you very much. So we'll give these guys a round of applause. There are certainly worse things that can happen to you in life to have to come to Barcelona in May. So this is pretty good. Also, a big thank you to sponsors for the event, obviously the hosts as well as our member sponsors, and you'll be able to interact with a bunch of these guys over the course of the reception later tonight. So it's fantastic to see the support that we have in the ecosystem and the community overall. So thank you to our sponsors. And you've probably, I don't have a flyer with me, but you should have picked up a flyer on the way in at the registration desk. You probably noticed this is our first event where our partner Informa is running the event. We've partnered with Informa. They're one of the largest event organizers in the world to help us run more workshops more often in more geographies around the world. And if you pick up the flyer, you'll be able to see where some of the events are coming up over the next little while. And I'll talk about this right at the end of my slide. So you can download a PDF of the agenda at this Google short link, right? So I know it's a little bit cryptic, but SR30W5 at the end of a Google.gl. If you want to have a PDF in your device for the agenda, you can download that. Also, our events are always, first and foremost, about bringing the community together to network and share ideas and thoughts with each other. So while it's likely you are going to see friends that you haven't seen in a while, maybe since the last workshop, do yourself a favor and try not to spend all the time with the people you know. Try to spend time with people you don't know, and hopefully you can share ideas and learn from each other. And one of the things that we do at each of the workshops is we distribute the attendee list. So if, for whatever reason, you don't want your name on that attendee list, see me or Sue during the morning break or the lunchtime break, and we'll take your name off the list. The intent is we'll be emailing that list out later this afternoon, so if there's some people that you're trying to connect with over the reception or over the course of the day tomorrow, you'll be able to do that. We have plenty of time during the breaks, the morning and afternoon breaks and lunchtime break, as well as the reception to allow for interaction and so on. So hopefully you can take advantage of that. And if you haven't done so already, you should be following the foundation on Twitter and on LinkedIn. We try to get as much information about what's going on in the community out on those, as well as the email lists that we have up on the site. So some workshop stats. We've had a few of these by now. This is the third largest workshop that we've had, excuse me, and it's the largest one outside of the US. The one that we had at WD last fall was larger, and then the one that we had at Google before that was larger. But other than that, this is the largest one outside of Silicon Valley. So we're impressed by that. And represented in the audience, or amongst the attendees, we have over 100 companies represented and 25 universities. So the momentum, continues to be very strong, and we're just thrilled with the support that we see in the ecosystem. A little bit about the foundation, right? So it's a nonprofit organization with the intent of governing the specs for the RISC-V set of documents, and with the goal to make sure that the ISA remains free and open for everyone, all parties to use. One of the things that we've been trying to work on is a set of compliance suites, compatibility suites, that are available for everyone to use and download. Alan Baum from Esperanto is chairing that task group. There's a lot of discussion and debate in terms of what should be in there and how that looks, and that's good, that's healthy. The point is that's an open development that we obviously support. And in order to maintain the sanctity of a single standard in the marketplace, we have trademarks that the foundation manages and licenses to the members. And this is so that when I say I've got a RISC-V compliant device, an IMAFD compliant device, everybody knows what that means. There's been a lot of discussion about how we use those and why we're doing that. It's simply to make sure that we can all count on and rely on what it means to say I've got a RISC-V compliant device. Come on. Okay, so the organization is governed by a board of directors, and 5 of the guys on this list are here. So if you're in the room right now, just sort of stand up and give a wave. I know Kirsta's up next to talk. Rob Oshana is here. Dave Patterson is here. Franz is here, and Ted's up top as well. So if you haven't met these guys before, seek them out, talk to them during the breaks, and get their idea of what RISC-V is all about. Different classes of membership. For those of you that are new to the organization, anything from a high-level corporate membership at the platinum level, which gives the member company opportunity to nominate members to the board of directors. And those of you that are members already have seen that we have 2 board seats that are up for re-election, and there's a ballot that's currently open and underway for that. Right down to individual member class, which is gives an opportunity for individuals who are not affiliated with any organization to participate as well. All level of membership, they're governed by the exact same contribution rules in the membership agreement. It's the same agreement that everyone signs and executes. And it gives you the opportunity to participate in all of the task groups and committees that we have with an intent to contribute to the evolution of the specs. Doesn't matter how many people you have in the task groups as a member company, or it doesn't matter what level you're at. It's one company, one vote. There's no single organization that has any more authority or power from a voting or ratification standpoint than any other. So we're trying to make this as open and as democratic as we possibly can, while at the same time living by a set of rules that we all choose to play by, when we're in the sandbox together. And the bylaws and membership agreements that I mentioned earlier are on the site for anybody to look at and download and participate if that's what they choose to do. Come on. So this is a busy slide. It gets busier and busier every time I put it up, and almost immediately out of date. We have over 150 members. That comprises of organizations and individual members. I think the number is actually 97 organizations. That would be anything from a company to research lab or university. So it's staggering and invigorating all at the same time. It's a little bit like drinking from a fire hose and trying to not get any water on the floor. To bring a community like this on board and ramp everybody into the ecosystem. But it's a good problem to have, right? Everybody would much rather be dealing with that than the opposite. So thank you to everyone who's on here for your support, and there's more to come. So giving you an idea of what this looks like since the inception of the foundation, I think at our 3rd workshop that was hosted on the Oracle campus in January of 2016, we had 16 member companies or something like that. Somewhere around there. By the end of the quarter, we had more. And by the time we made it to the MIT workshop, later that June or July, we had 40-something. And we're currently sitting just over 150 when you include the individual members. So it's been a pretty good ramp, and it continues to ramp. This is kind of entertaining. With the Barcelona Supercomputing Center coming on board as a member, we now have members in 25 countries around the world, which covers roughly 55% of the world's population. I'm certainly not implying at this stage that every one of those people has a RISC-V based device in their pocket or anything, just not yet. So it's been interesting to watch the adoption and growth of RISC-V. And this is just from a membership standpoint, right? And if you use that as a bit of a proxy to appreciate the amount of activity around RISC-V that's outside the membership as well, it's quite staggering. So we're very pleased with that. And we have books, right? We have good books. In fact, Dave and Andrew Waterman will be autographing some books. If you want to get copies of some of these books later today, there'll be a RISC-V table during the reception. And they're very good books. The computer organization and design has been updated to have a RISC-V edition, as you see here. And the reader companion with the Mona Lisa cover is quite a handy reference. And in fact, we have, I do not want to butcher this too badly, but esta tradición fue posible gracias a la colaboración entre UC Berkeley y Universidad Galileo en Guatemala. And we have with us Ali Lemieux and Eduardo Corpeño, I think, in the room, right? Ah, Ali, excellent. So thank you to those guys for doing the translation. That book is available now at the RISC-VBook.com site that Dave and Andrew put up as a free download in Spanish. So it's amazing to see the interest and traction that we're getting. So thank you very much for that, guys. And I've got us back on track. So, you know, this is an interesting phenomenon that's really taking, you know, it's arguably the shiny new toy in the semiconductor industry, and certainly the most interesting thing that's happened in the processor space probably in the last decade, with amazing support across the industry. And like I said, make sure you follow us on the social channels. And if you're interested, join us in southern India in July for the next workshop, which will be hosted by our good friends at IIT Madras. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kirsta for his talk. And make sure, I'll be announcing when we're on break and so on, but please make sure you get back in here on time because we're going to hammer through this agenda on a pretty rapid pace. So thank you, and enjoy the shop.